So last monster truck video, we drove it for the first time. This video, we've got to sort out a couple of problems to get it ready for our first show. Also, I want to make this monster truck really loud and look better. So I want to make some zoomy headers. That exhaust that come out like that, and then they go up the side of the body like that. And I've got a zoomy header kit. I've just got to cut it up and weld it and turn it into zoomies. Problem number one, we've got too much suspension travel on the front shocks. So what was happening is that this prop shaft, drive shaft here was coming up and rubbing on this cage here. Yeah, that's bad. So we've got these limit straps here to limit the suspension travel, and we can adjust it here on the chassis. So we're going to move these up a couple of holes. That should fix it. On the rear, we haven't got enough suspension travel. Let me show you. So on the rear, we've got 30-inch travel shocks. The trouble is, we're only getting around about 25 inches of travel. We want to limit it by about 2 or 3 inches, just because we don't want the shock shafts to fully extend and rip the piston off. So that's what these straps are for. But they are limiting it too much. If we look down here on this drive shaft, we can make it a little bit longer. So these straps here are 34 inches long. I think we're gonna have to buy some 36s or maybe 37. No idea why this jack sounds so nasty when it's coming down. Biggest problem we got on this build is actually the steering. We've got a front differential locker in there that makes the steering wheel almost impossible to steer when you're going slow. If you start flipping the accelerator, then it starts steering. But I want to make the steering a little bit better. And over here, we've got the steering bypass valve for the hydraulics, and you can actually turn this and adjust the pressure and crank the pressure up. But we need to know what the pressure is, because if we crank it up too much, we can start blowing lines off. So we're going to get a pressure gauge, see what pressure it's reading, and then we can crank it up, hopefully. Another problem was that these transmission cooling fans, they stopped working, so we have to see why. And the way that we got the oil breather set up, when I was doing a donut, all the oil was flowing into here, coming down there, and just absolutely pouring out of the bottom there. So we can swap over the rocker covers and have this fitting on this side, so then when we're donutting, it's not going to come out, hopefully. And I think that's it. Not bad for our first shakedown run. All right, let's start off with the front limit straps. Right, other side, then jack it up and see if we fixed it. Down there, look, that's where we don't want it hitting. Boom! There we go, sorted it. Now, we got a little bit of clearance, and if it's still gonna rub, then I suppose we can just grind a little bit out from the inside of this piece. So rear straps, we've ordered them, but they're not here yet. So next, let's swap over the rocker covers. All that oil is looking healthy in there. So next, we've got to take the other side off and then swap the two over. So that's all back on there. So next I've got to sort out a little water leak on here. So I've taken this fitting out, put some PTFE tape on there, and hopefully we're going to put all this back together again and it's going to stop leaking. Oh, check it out. We got the gauge. So we have to fit this in here somewhere like that. And I'm not going to bother filming it because there's not much space in there to work on. It's going to be all fiddly. So I can do it magically. Ready, ready, ready? Boom! There we go. Now we can see what the steering pressure is. I think we want it around about 1800. Also, I've got the transmission fans working again. Really easy fix. It's just a fuse inside the switch box. So I'm just getting all my graphics put on here by VK Graphics. We was reading 1500 psi. We was actually supposed to let the idle stabilise, and we didn't, but we can crank it up. So we need to get this piece here out more because there's a spring in there, and that's going to push down more and give it more pressure, hopefully. And now, I don't know how much you're supposed to adjust it by. In there is a spring and a ball, so when the pressure gets too high, it bypasses the extra pressure through here. But when we got the diff lock, it was bypassing too early. Hopefully now, we can have more steering. So we're going to see what the pressure is now, and then we're going to put the big wheels on it and see if it steers better. So that time we saw 2500 psi, a little bit more than what we're supposed to put in it, but the lines which is apparently what's going to blow. They can take 4,000 PSI, and that's the safety rating. They can actually apparently take 4 times that before they actually blow. I want more power, so I think we're going to just leave it where it is. So next, we've got to get it outside, big wheels on, and hopefully it's going to steer on the big wheels. Fingers crossed. It's also leaning a little bit. I think we've got to reset the sway bars at some point. So last time we struggled a little bit to get the big wheels on, because when you're trying to move them about on the concrete, it just doesn't want to move. So we've got a bit of plastic here. We're going to put some washing up liquid on it, and hopefully it's going to slide easier to get them on. I've seen some other professionals do it that way. Tony's got some rollers, but I've never made them yet. Alright, so that's one on there. And next, we've got to get the next one on there. Alright, see if it works. Please work, please.
Those back wheels aren't happy.
I know.
They're not turning, they're being pushed.
Steering works though. Oh man, miles better. Zoomy header time. We're gonna get some more noise very soon. So I've just taken that exhaust off, and we've got these flanges here that are bolted onto the head. Next, we've got to cut up some bends and make it all work. Stainless steel, not sure if this saw blade's gonna like it. Oh, look at that, straight through. If any of you guys want to cut any metal, these Makita saws, they do it beautifully. I cut wood, metal, everything with this thing. It's nice. We've got to weld that onto there, and then cut a bit more for there, and then weld that onto there. This is going to be the best sounding monster truck in the world. You wait till you hear it. So next I've come up with this contraption here so we can hold up our pipes when we're trying to mock it all up and weld it up. So we're just putting on a couple of tacks just so that it doesn't move while we fit the rest of it. They look pretty good, but not perfect. So if you see this one here, it's closer to the body, and this one here is further away. And it might not notice from some angles, but if you look at it from some other angles, it's a little bit more obvious. It's just me being fussy, really. Right, it's another day, slight change of plan. I'm going to break the tacks off. I've already done these ones here, look. And I want to just readjust it and move about a little bit and just make sure that it looks right. So I'm just going to hacksaw through the tacks just to break them off, and then we can rotate slightly. So now I can mess about with these and get the angles right, and then we're going to re-tack them back on again. So I've got it all clamped up. I put some little spaces between here. It looks a lot nicer now. Once this comes off, you'll see. And if you look here, you can actually see how far we have to move it to get it all to sit nice now. So next, we're going to tack it all back together again, and then we can weld it up for real. If you just weld it as it is, it looks nice on the outside, but you look on the inside, it goes all furry, and that's a weak weld. It's going to crack, it's porous, it's just horrible. But the oxygen basically gets to it and it oxidizes with the metal. So that's what we've got welding gas for. Welding gas is called an inert gas, and that means it can't set fire to stuff. Stuff cannot burn when there's an inert gas there. Basically, it's just stopping the metal from burning. So when you're welding, gas comes out of the torch there and it protects the weld from the top, but there's nothing to protect it from the inside. So on my TIG set here, I've got a twin regulator. So one of these, that one here goes to the torch, and then we've got another one here that goes to nothing. So we've got this hose here. We've got to screw that onto the bottom of here. And the other end, we can put it inside the tube that we're trying to weld. That's called purging it. Fills the inside of the tube up with the inert gas, so that hopefully won't happen. So first of all, we're going to cap the end off with a little bit of masking tape. Same on the other end. Then make a hole and shove the hose in there. Next, a couple of small little holes in this end, just to let it breathe, and turn on the gas. And then we've got a little flow meter here. We can just turn this and adjust how much we want to come out. Something like that. Do it on your lips. You can just feel a little bit of air coming out. Leave it like that for a couple of minutes to fill it all up, to purge it, then we can weld. Next, we've got to do this end. This end's going to be a bit more tricky because we've got the tape that might melt. If it does, we're going to have to rethink how we're going to do it. So the paper has burned, but hopefully the gas has still got to the inside of it. There we go. And it worked. Next, we've got to brace it all together and make a mount to tie it onto the chassis to give it a little bit of support. And also, I've changed all the bolts, look, for these Allen ones so we can get in there a little bit easier. So we've got the one side on there, so next we've got to start it up, turn it round so we can do the other side. Oh no, look, Zoomy broke my light. Is the sister impressed?
Very cool.
So we've got my buddy Lee from L&S Signs. He's making the tailgate a little bit more pretty.
We're going to line it up.
What? How did you do it so quick? Boom! That looks nuts. So next, we've got to get this side on. Boom! Check it out, guys. This is going to sound epic. You can't get much more straight pipe than that. But now let's quickly fire it up and see what it sounds like. Got Raz in the house.
Yeah. It's like 3 times louder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You can't really put it on video.
No,
Wow.
video won't.
I can't even speak. What?
Video doesn't do it justice.
Dude, it's so much loud. Like, it's so loud.
Yeah.
Damn. And I'm with earmuffs.
Yeah.
Like, the entire floor shakes.
Yeah, it vibrates the floor. It's like a little mini earthquake.
Wow.
It's
and the
something-
smell.
When I first saw these in Vegas 2014, I had goosebumps on my neck, on my arms. I
Dude.
knew I have to get one.
Man, I have to tell you, it's so hard to actually transfer that into video. It's just impossible almost. I'm lost for words, man. This is nasty. All right, cut.
So windows all in, and next we got to put these side panels on. Well, we don't have to, but I want to. These are really sponsorship panels. However, I'm not sponsored yet, but I think it just finishes it off a little bit nicer. The truck did come with 2 of them, but one of them got lost when the chassis got delivered. So my buddy Lee Howden from L&S Signs, the dude that put the tailgate stickers on, he made me these on his little cutting machine here. All we got to do, we got to drill the holes in there for these little Zeus clip things, and then bolt them on. But first, we got to actually fit the Zeus clips. There we go, got them all on there, both sides. I can barely see them because they are half see-through. But once we get some sponsor stickers on there, then they're going to stand out a bit more. There we go. Truck is finished. However, we do have a bit of a problem. So a few months ago, I ordered a whole shipping container full of spares. Spare tyres, spare wheels, spare parts for the truck, axles, planetaries, you name it. Trouble is, it was supposed to get here 1st of August. My show now is in 2 or 3 days' time, and the shipment of all my parts is going to come after. These tyres here are BKT racing tyres. They're lightweight, they're designed for racing competition use. Because they're lightweight, they're not the most durable. And if you go over cars, which this first show is going to be, is all crushing cars and jumping buses and stuff, these can puncture really easily. They're £3 each, and we could wipe out all 4 of them. Also, if we do that, it's game over first show. So I've got tyres that are not suited for cars. I've got no spare parts. If I break it, it's game over. On top of that, I've only had like a few minutes of seat time in this truck, and now I'm doing my first show in front of all you guys watching. I'm quite nervous actually, but I'm super excited. I cannot wait. It's been a dream all my life, and I'm just itching to get behind the wheel of it. First show coming up next few days. Hopefully, we're not going to break it. We're not going to break these. The other problem with breaking it is, and not having any spare parts, we need to load it back up onto the trailer, get it back here, and get it back into this shop. If it's broken, that might not be possible, so we've really got to try and not break it.